are going to have Internet Hulk joining us today. He, of course, is the in-game leader of EnVyUs' Overwatch squad. Tell me a little bit about yourself as a gamer. That's a pretty thick German accent I hear, but I know you're playing for a North American team. How did this all work out? What is your gaming background, and how did you end up on EnVyUs?
I pretty much started way back in Call of Duty 1, 2, then moved on to Call of Duty 4, switched to World of Warcraft, played Arena, League of Legends, StarCraft 2, and yeah, now I ended up in Overwatch. And how we got to EnVyUs was pretty much just being the best team overall, because like you can, in Overwatch you can play cross-continent, so there were a lot of online tournaments back in the beta, which we won against American teams on American servers with high ping. And yeah, we got approached by Envy, or we approached Envy, a player of them as well. And yeah, we just got to a mutual agreement, I guess.
How did this team come together, and how do you play with so many different competitors from different countries?
It's pretty much, as European, I guess you have to make the decision pretty quickly if you want like a full German lineup or something, or if you want to go international. And if you have an international pool of players, you definitely have more choice of getting the best players you want, or the perfect players for your team. So yeah, we have Chips Hein from Sweden, Coco from Sweden, Harry Hook from Spain, and Taimu from Finland. And I just pretty much, when the game came out, I knew 1 year in advance when it was announced that I wanted to create the best team possible. And it was pretty lucky getting to know most of those people, but I got in contact with Coco, Chips, and Harry Hook very early, since the very first days of beta. And yeah, since then we always stick together.
Now, you have a huge resume. You've played all of these different games across multiple different genres. How did you find your teammates in Overwatch? Did you know them from previous games, or was this just the top guys that you ran up against in the beta?
That's actually the weird part about how we came together, because usually as a top player you get to know, I joined this game with many top players from different games like World of Warcraft, and not actually FPS players, but League of Legends and World of Warcraft players, but they all ended up not being good. And my teammates come from TF2 and Dota and stuff, and I got to know them. I actually got to know Chips and Coco from Reddit, which is pretty lucky, and Harry Hook from Public, because like I was playing against Harry Hook and we was playing Mercy, and Mercy is actually a character that you not necessarily can tell that someone is really good and you really want to play with him, but I definitely saw he's a really good player, and I'm pretty lucky that I actually added him. And you know, you saw his Mercy play, and
yes, that's what was the decision maker for you. That must have been pretty damn good. Mercy play.
It was pretty good, yeah.
All right, so can you tell me a little bit about the Overwatch competitive scene right now? I know the beta has been out for a while, but the game officially launched in May. Where do we stand in the competitive space? What tournament should people be looking at?
Tournaments are rising like left and right. I think currently there's like the E-League in Atlanta this weekend, which is going to be amazing. And then we have a big tournament in China, and also the ODN League in Korea. I think there's an MSI tournament announced in December. And I think that's it for this year so far, but there can always be more tournaments. There's a lot of online tournaments, and the competitive scene is actually pretty huge. I think the game blew up pretty quickly, and I think Overwatch has the potential to be at least as good as League, Counter-Strike, and Dota in the next years. It won't be overnight, but I think it has the potential. Give it 1.5 more years, and I think Overwatch is going to be there.
A year and a half, and it can be at the same level as those other games. I am definitely looking forward to that day. I love Overwatch. I've been watching as much as I can. E-League is going to be coming up, and we see that the North American teams are going to be playing in a separate bracket than the European teams. But at the end of the day, there will be one North American squad playing against the top squad from Europe. Do you expect to be in that grand final? And if so, who do you expect to play against from Europe?
We definitely expect to be in the grand final. Obviously, confidence goes a long way. I'm not going to underestimate NRG, Cloud9, or any other team there. They're pretty good, but we definitely expect to be in the final. And from Europe, it's going to be pretty close. I would say you have the Misfits, Reunited, and Rogue, who are pretty close. And then also FaZe, for me, is kind of like a wild card. You never know how they will perform. But I expect, if I have to call one team, I still expect Reunited to go through.
Solid stuff. Internet Hulk, thank you so much for joining me today. Where can our fans find you? Where should they watch you play?
You can definitely watch me play on twitch.tv/InternetHulk. Try to stream daily. Otherwise, you can also follow me on Twitter at EnVy_Hulk. I would appreciate it. I'm posting memes all day, and yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. That is Internet Hulk, one of the best personalities you'll find in the competitive Overwatch scene.